Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box of the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Saturday, the 2nd of March. This is the weekend webinar. Another eventful week in Wall Street. New record highs across the board for most indices. Technicals not that great, particularly towards the end of the market may be getting tired, but the trend is unequivocally still in play and uninterrupted without any deterioration other than the internals, and that's price speaks at all times. Now the market can continue to climb. If you look at the Magnificent Seven, 5 of them are massive uptrends, while Apple and Google are starting to deteriorate a little bit. But it may be a sign of the first crack in the armor. But for now, let's just take a look at the last, since the November lows. The S&P 500 has gone from 41 to 5,100, 1,000 points. That's 25% in 5 months. Pretty amazing move. And even Friday, up another 0.8%, or 41 points, to a new record high, 51.37. Right now, the top of the mid channel says around 51.85, 51.90. Top of the long-term channel says 53.75 to 5,400. Key short-term support right now is 50.75.80. Beneath that, this low, really important to me, 49.40.45. If we get below that, we break a lot of things and are in danger of a much deeper retrace for now. The Nasdaq 100 keeping pace, broke out, jumped 259 or 1.44% on Friday alone to a new record high. And you can see not even at the top of the intermediate channel since the October low actually, at 14,058. We're now 18,302, so 4,250 points, 30% just since the October low. Pretty amazing move, and yet it just broke out of a flag and doesn't look done yet. Near-term target 18.6. Much bigger longer-term target is way up in the 19,000-20,000 range, but I won't go there yet. Key short-term support, right about the last 6-day low is 17.8. I want to see that hold, but that's 500 points from here. So those are those two. Now the small cap index, IWM, on the verge of a major breakout. But you can see that going back here, there is resistance even above here at about 212. So let's just say we have 7 points to go before we hit that. But if we don't get through here and turn down, that might not be good. We need some follow through and confirmation. And the troubling part is the lack of the transportation index keeping pace. Not only that, it was actually down on an up day on Friday, where it was down 897, or about not even 0.1%. Still, it was down on the day when the market was ripping it. And when I see transportation, which the Dow theory basically says that if the transportation doesn't confirm the industrials, and this is going back a long time, of course, and it may not hold true, but I just want to put it out there that the lack of confirmation for the transportations always means trouble for the market. At least it used to. And let's see if it holds out that or turns out the same way this time. Need to get that up through 16,273. If so, 16,625 would be a potential target. So that's the indices. And let's look at some of the underlying technicals. Where's the McClellan oscillator? It's still neutral at plus 42. It hasn't gotten overbought because of the lack of technicals. Just to repeat, the oscillator consists of advanced declines and up-down volume. And when that is neutral, or only 1.5 to 1 or 2 to 1 in the market that usually sees 3, 4, and 5 to 1, that means the underlying technicals are not keeping pace, and this is why this is stalled, not that far from zero line. Before the market gets too frothy, I would expect to see 150, 180, 200, maybe. Well, what about the VIX? The VIX is down there 13 and slipping. Not yet apathy, which would mean look at something in between 11 and 9, in my opinion. If you look at the long-term pattern, here's a weekly. You'll see that we got down as low as 8 and change at one point several years ago. But this is the lowest level we've seen since maybe, let's call it December of 2019. So 4.5 years ago is the lowest level we've seen. So yeah, they can rally from here and spike the market up, and the market could turn on a dime on Monday. Can't see that yet, and I won't stand in front of runaway freight train. I keep telling all of you to not go short yet, not particularly with the ultra shorts, which can cream you if you go in the wrong direction. Be patient, my friends. Now, now that we've looked at that, I also want you to show you the percentage of stocks that are participating. It's about 55%. It's still below the moving average. Look, if we fail right here, it wouldn't be a shocker, but I would like to see that up around 75, 80%, and the outsider up one between 180 and 200% on the reading, and then maybe the VIX down in the 9, 10 zone before I think the market's screaming sell. But again, you never know how far they're going to take it. They always take it further than you think they're going to take it, and so be patient. All right, on the long side, we trade every day. We find stocks that are running. Let's take a look at quite a few of the best charts, and I eliminated a lot of them, folks, because there was just so many. But most of the stocks we've been familiar with. ACMR, look at the breakout last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This thing just kept running. Major breakaway gap in volume, and of a long base. This is in the right group, semiconductors. I would assume we're going to make a run at least somewhere up around 39.40 zone. That's my next target on ACMR. ADCT, a long downtrend, very long. From this stock at one point was trading in the 50s. Believe it or not, they got it down to 36 cents. That was in November last year. Recently ran it up to 6. So we're looking at about a 16, 17-fold increase here. Is it long in the tooth? Yeah, but look at the consolidation. It doesn't look done. Your next target, 7.5, 8. AEOs, a lot of the retailers looking stellar. Look at AEO recover. In last June, this was a $10 stock, and now it's up 150%, near 25. There is resistance here, but the lower term target is 31. AI, well, it finally broke out of an 8 or 9 month consolidation and pullback retest. Finally breaking through key resistance with a breakaway gap on Thursday. It pulled back Friday. So this needs to be watched. Will it back and fill, or will it spike up over 38 and keep going? Targets are 40, 1.5, 2, and 45. LAR, this junior software stock, beautiful short-term rising channel, and then pop breakout. From the breakout point, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a little long in the tooth, and having gone from in about a year from $1.46 to almost 19, you got a stock that's up 10, 12, 13 fold and is vulnerable. However, and there is resistance here. Any momentum could carry this and carry it substantially. ALDX, Aladera Therapeutics, and other biotech. As you know, the biotech groups are powerful. Plunged in October, probably on bad news that took it from 255 to 140. Took a month to recover it, and then it ran back up again. Friday was a key breakout. That's why I'm showing it to you. Jumping on 1.36 million, which is a lot of volume for that stock, about 16% and breaking out. The gap fill alone gets you to about 5.5. Then the target 7. ALT smoked from November's low at around 2.25 all the way up to 13. Top there came down a very orderly decline, held near the prior highs, spiked up. Recently, we got a three-day pullback on lower volume. Let's see if it consolidates in this zone, backs and fills, and then goes. My next target is 17, folks. AMD, well, what can I say about that? NVIDIA and some of the others, they're leading the market for sure. Advanced Micro, new all-time highs, over 200. We've day traded this a million times. What a move since the November low, 94 to 203. And yet, the way I'm looking at this, we might see 235 and even 255.60 or more. Powerful move underway. ANF, one of the better looking retailers on Wall Street. Look at this chart. Last May 22, here it is, 131, and still going. Every week I show you this, and every week I say there's no top in sight. ANNX, this little biotech stock came through declining top line, set up a consolidation platform above the moving averages as it crossed over. There's your major breakout. And then another platform. And now we're going again. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and this looks like a 1, 2. Wave 3 may be underway. My projection would be a move to $8. APLT, another biotech that was moving up steadily from the half a buck area into the 4 range, and then it's starting to accelerate. exploded Thursday to get to 939 and backed off to 720. But momentum could carry this as high as 12. That's what I'm looking at. Stay tuned. APP, Tech Trader Swing, beautiful chart. Broke out here, consolidated for 5 or 6 months. Another breakout, rising flag, target 77.78. Aquestive, another junior biotech, broke out this week and just kept going from under 3 to 455, finished near there. Extension target is 6. ARDX, yet another biotech, broke out of a base, flagged and exploded, now forming a beautiful consolidation for another leg that may take you to 12. ARM, fairly new IPO, came out of September and ripped ever since the November low. It was trading down in the 46.7 zone. 2 weeks ago, exploded to 164 and pulled back. But right now, looking like a big wedge is forming. See it? If we break out of this, this can go vertical. And with semiconductors the way they are, this is one to watch. ARQT, another biotech that's running in a beautiful rising pattern and a nice day on Friday, up $1.51 or almost 15%, 7.2 million. That is a breakout. It looks to me like the next target would be somewhere around 15. ADC, V bottom, breakaway gap, platform, breakout, coil, pop. This should be a tech trader swing. I think it's going to 15, 17, 19. AXGN exploded out of a falling channel. Another medical device company, a healthcare medical biotech field that we like. This has run from 345, broke out Friday and got up to 1122, quadrupling. You can see the pop here and the pullback and a nice falling wedge near the trend line, breakaway gap and another falling wedge, and then a pop in a rising channel. Target 13.5. Bandwidth breaks out of a base last week and with a huge gap on earnings and just kept going. Nice engulfing day on Friday. The gap appears to be tested short term 2165. If we get through that, we can get it into the mid-20s. BBAI is AI stock, came on strong again last week. This one exploded, stalled, and then broke out Friday. There is some resistance around 4.5, but my target's going to be 6.5. Bluebird, inverse head and shoulder breakout retest, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way move before long consolidation. The next leg started with a pop, pennant, another pop. Looks like a 1, 2, and 3 is underway. We could see the 4 and 5. I wouldn't be surprised to see mid-40s or more. CDNA, a large inverse head and shoulders has formed. The right shoulder exploded last week as it moved from 8 to 12.5, and it's at resistance here. Does it get through? If it does, 18 is your target. CDXS, a rounding bottom, a breakout, falling wedge to the trend line. That would be right there. And then a rising channel underway, and that would be right there. Note, it hit the top of the channel at resistance, maybe due for a pullback. If momentum carries it through, 7 is your target. Seco Environmental, long-term dynamite chart. Key breakout occurred here, and then a flag formed, and then another breakout in a coil, and another breakout. Right now, my target is 26. Confluent imploded in November, probably on earnings, then slammed up, platformed, moving averages crossed over. It broke out again on a breakaway gap, and now it's got a rising wedge of sorts that could explode. Targets 38 and 44. Cognite Software, CGNT. This is a tech trader swing from back in here when it was a 3 3/4, and eventually made it up and doubled to 7.5. Right now it's consolidating. I think it has a chance of testing 9.5. CBLT, Cellbrite, in a rounding bottom or inverse head and shoulder breakout retest. New channel formed and then popped out again and flagged. Broke out again and is at the top of that channel and maybe through it. Quite frankly, it has enough momentum, I think, to get to 13 and 14. CLS, beautiful move, breakout, little flag, rising channel, and then accelerating. Very strong. Friday up another 304 to my target at 45. We're there. Extension target at 50. COHR, tech trader swing, pop, broke out, wedge, and broke out again Friday. I think this is headed to the 70s. COLL, Collegium, base, breakout, run, flag, pop, mini wedge, 39 target. Koya, as you know, one of my favorites, base, breakout, retest, explosive move. In the last month, it's taken it from 5.5 to nearly 10. Actually hit 10 on Friday, a new high. My target was 11 and 13. I think we get there. CRBP breaks out and wedges here. Ups the wedge and flags and then breaks out again. So if this should get up to 40, it might be 50. Credo breaks out, retests a couple times, pops again, flag, wedge. You know, it's a little choppy, but it looks like it's headed higher. My target's in the mid-20s right now. Crinetics, breakaway gap last September, multi-month consolidation, pop, coil, pop. I don't think it's done by any means. New all-time highs. Might see mid-50s. CRSP, exploded in November, December, coiled for 3 months, broke out in February. The run took it from 62 to 91, 29 points, and now it's wedging. Next target, 99, 110. Carvana, after coming through a triple top here last week with a breakaway gap, this stock is now wedging and looking powerful. Very. Short covering is going to squeeze this one, I think, to 110.20. Dell broke out there and pulled back. We put a swing on it. I think it was in the 68.9 zone. It exploded on earnings Friday, jumping 29, almost 30 points, 31%. And that has reached all my targets. Now, this is all-time high territory, but I think Dell has joined the NVIDIA SMCI group in AI, as they're going to be building AI computers apparently, and that's what's doing this, but it's a little bit extended. DYN breaks across multiple tops, pulls back in a wedge, perfect entry up there, spiked, wedge, and spiked again, up 275 or 10% on Friday, but based on the angle of ascent, this might very well be a $40 stock. EDIT exploded last week and pulled back for a couple of days. If it gets through, and this is key, 11 3/4, we're looking for 14. EDU, one of the better long-term plays in education. Take a look at the last couple of years. It's gone from under 10 to 96, tenfold type increase. Doesn't look done yet. Wouldn't be surprised to see 110, 120, 130. ELEV, junior biotech, exploded in January. Took a month to coil, and look at last week. Vertical every day from 253 to 525, more than doubled. And I have a $6 target. EOLS, beautiful base, multiple tops, breakout, immediate wedge, bull wedge, and another flag, and then a breakout. Channel top tells me 15 3/4, 16 might be a short-term target. FAS, well, we showed you that. That's the financial sector of the market, and it's pretty powerful. Flagging right now for 5 days. Flex, fantastic long-term chart, and accelerating out of it. When it broke out here and then coiled, popped, pulled back, flag, and there's no telling where this can go. I believe it's a new all-time high. It is indeed. I'd probably look for something in the mid to high 30s. FTAI, very sneaky. The stock has gone from 15 to 59.60. It's a 300% gainer, and it doesn't look done. It actually jumped another 267 on Friday, targeting 65. GANX, one of my favorite junior bios, long decline breakout, falling wedge. To me, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. One more leg up to 6, maybe do. GBTC, well, I'm not going to chase this one. It's gone from 8 to 56 in the last year and 4 months, 3 months. It's obviously crypto, Bitcoin related, and it's obviously extended. Momentum is fantastic, and it could still explode into the 70s for all we know, but maintain and or keep raising your stops if you're long that stock. GCT Tech Trader Swing broke out. It kept running. It's moved from 8 and change to 40 and change just in the last 3 months. What a move. On Friday alone, up 326 or 8.7%, and my target is 50.52. Geo, another, popped, broke out, it kept running. So we're still long this stock, no reason to sell it. My target is 14 now. GNK, I like the shippers. This one broke out of a long-term base and might be on its way up into the mid to high 20s. GOGL is another in the same group. Same thing here, breaking out, looking for a move to 16. GoTo, breaking out of a big base after a big decline. I now think the stock has legs into the mid-teens. GitLab, one of my favorites, a long-term swing, broke out there and kept running. I think this is a $90 stock. Hudson, really long-term move, and this stock went from almost out of business. I mean, the stock was 30 cents. Right now, $15. 50-fold increase. And yet, flagging and mini flagging, it looks higher, looking for 18.20. Hood, well, a long basis formed and the breakout has occurred. So let's see if this has any legs for an addition. The target is 20. IDYA, a beautiful biotech that's been on my list for a couple of years. It was one of my picks from last year. The stock's literally gone from under 10 to mid 40s. It doesn't look done at 50-52 target. IMNM is another rising channel, targeting mid 30s. Iovance, yet another biotech, strong runner. It's a 1, 2, 3. We may need a wave 4, but eventually a fifth wave could take this to 22.3. JANX, with big biotech news in the last couple of weeks, has gone ballistic from 8 to 60, almost 8.58. But it's holding, stalling, consolidating in this area. Now, I don't know if it breaks down, but I would say stop under 40 and a move up here that takes out 58 can run into the 60s and 70s. Jemiah Flyer, well, it broke out in wedge. We put a swing on it. It just kept going. This is a fantastic move so far. It's gone from 3 to 7. Target 8.25 short term. Copen, long-term rising pattern now from October when it was down $1.11. It nearly tripled to 280 some odd. Pull back down, and now it's got a wedge forming. Looks to me like, and look at the long-term chart, nice base. Copen eventually gets over 290. You're looking at 4 and 6. LMB, one of the more beautiful charts in Wall Street, from a $5 low in July of 22. In a year and 3 quarters, from 5 to 50, tenfold. And yet, do you see a top in this? I don't. Momentum can take this into the 60s. Mara, I'm not thrilled with the pattern itself, but obviously in crypto stocks extended, here's a stock that in October was trading at 7 and it made it into the mid 30s. If it does take the mid 30s out, we're looking at high 30s, low 40s. MGNX, another biotech that exploded out of a base, wedged at their resistance, and just kept running. Look at that flag, and it broke out Friday. Mid 20s target. MNMD broke out of a base too. Accelerated, particularly Friday when it jumped 13%. Right now, I'm not going to be shocked if this stock makes a move towards 8. MREO, another biotech and another beautiful channel. Pop coil, pop flag. One more leg takes me to 5.5, 6. MRVL. The semiconductor broke out on Friday. It's the highest level we've seen in 2 years. I'm now looking for a move mid 80s, low 90s. MTC, big pop Friday. Wanted to show it to you. Traded 80 million shares, up 84%. When you see that kind of volume, you need to pay attention. Possible targets 5 and 7. Micron, yet another semiconductor that broke out Friday, but it has some heavy overhead resistance near 98, and we're just beneath that. So if it should break out of there, it could accelerate. NKTX, long downtrend, breakout, wedge, looks like it's popping. We got a double top up here around 1819. I would look for a move into the 18 range. Nanox, exploded, falling wedge, popped, and now flagging. If it gets over 1265, it's a rocket ship to 14 and 17, in my opinion. NOTV, another diagnostic research biotech type stock that popped and kept running. And right now, Friday up another 13% at resistance. It gets through here, there's a long way you can go. So I would look for 11 and 13. NTNX, one of my favorites. Put a couple swings on it the last couple of years. This one is still a swing from when we put it out in September when it was in the 30s. It's now in the 60s with a target at 69.70. NTRA, tech trader swing as well. Pop broke out, kept running, and now accelerated with a blowout up 450 on Friday. It's reached 91 from the mid 50s. Target 96.98. OCEA, little low price stock that exploded from 55 cents to 282 in a couple days. Near resistance and put a nice little wedges forming. So this is a cheapie to keep an eye on. In case it pops this here, it could run right to 4. OCUL, tech trader swing, I believe it broke out here, kept running, and now it's got a rising channel. Looks to me like it might be testing 12. This is on the run. Look at this breakout. OKTA with a major breakout through 3 tops and a big breakaway gap and an inside day Friday. I'm looking for more. 118, 125. ORIC broke out, tech trader swing, pulled back and retested the moving average and trend line, then it spiked from 10 to more than 15, 50% just last week alone. It's at the top of the channel. Technically though, 18 thereabout might be a target. Oscar, check out this little pennant. Popped out, put a swing on it, broke out, it just keeps going. And it looks to me like this might be in the mid-20s. This is a stock to watch going forward. Pegasystems, breaking out of a big base and now wedging. I don't know where they take this, but this stock has been much higher. So I would look for something potentially in the high 80s. PI, tech trader swing from here in the 60s has almost doubled. You get up to 119. In a 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th wave may be underway, and the target would be 140. Palantir popped 2 weeks ago and now been flagging. If it does pop out of here, this could be 29 and 33. Powell popped, coiled. We put a swing on it in high 70s. It's made it up to 187 and continues to push, but it's extended. How about that chart? PSTG, nice base, popped, retested, and then spiked last week. All-time highs. Might see this extended to the 60s. Pubmatic, nice base, breakaway gap last week. This too is one to be watched. Immediate target 23.5. In the semiconductor group, junior semiconductor, quick, beautiful chart. Popped out of the base, coiled, popped in a little flag, and then popped and retested. Ran up hard to the channel top, came down hard, but held, flagged, and popped again. There's some resistance up around 18 and a half, my next target. RLMD, junior biotech, base, breakout, rising flag, rising pattern, but there's a big gap here. Now, first rule of thumb for me, when the stock has a big gap, always put a line in the middle somewhere. Plus, there's lows there. So let's call this $14 target. Maybe a great swing if it breaks out and extends beyond here. RNA, tech trader swing, popped, wedged, and keeps channeling up until finally accelerated to the top of the channel. A bullish engulfing day on Friday. I'm now looking for 25. Root, probably one of the best swings of the year. We put it out when it broke out. I think it was around 14. It went nonstop to 41.96 in a week and a half. Outstanding. I'm thrilled with that for you guys. That's where the breakout came right there. That's where we went in. SANA exploded in January, pulled back, held the trend line, and then moved steadily higher before breaking through a double top last week. Acceleration target is 15. SBLK is another shipper I like. Those the 3 I mentioned, and a couple others. This whole group looks good. I think we need some representation. I may put a swing on it. If it gets to 25.6, we're probably looking at high 20s, low 30s on SBLK. SG Sweet Greens broke out Friday with a big pop, big breakaway gap, and it looks to me like 22 is a target. SKIN, I like that V-bottom implosion, a pop, gap fill, and then a consolidation, what we call a platform. Breakout of the platform occurred Friday. I'm now looking for 5 and 6. SLDB reversed sharply at the end of October when it was 181, has made it up to 10. for more than a 5-fold increase and currently flagging. Target 13. SLNO spiked and pulled back. We put a swing on it in the 20 range, and it's made it up to 50, 382. It doesn't look done. I think my target has to be 60 now. SMCI, monster in the midway, one of the biggest gainers, in it. This kind of a move doesn't occur too often, folks. Let's just say 35, April 7th, 22. Nearly 2 years later, 1,020. Where can this go? Again, it always goes further than you think you can, but boy, this is extended. 1,200, 1,400, 1,500. Anything's possible if it breaks out over the high. Watch that. 1078. And I would put a definitive stop under 800. This Sono was one of our big winners back in here, 1920, but you can see the long downtrend. Finally reversed. Platform broke out. It's got a coil. If this coil breaks, I'm looking for 22. SOUN exploded, wedge, and then exploded again. So it's a massive move that took it from $1.50 to 791 anyway. And now the pullback. In my opinion, it's got to hold that zone and then go again, and we shall see if that occurs. Scholar Rock with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a falling wedge broke out, but hasn't done anything yet. I'm still keeping an eye on this one for a move back to 21. Stellantis, that's Chrysler, beautiful chart, and multi-year breakout. As a matter of fact, all-time highs ever for Stellantis. Intriguing. Where's this going now? I would say high 20s, low 30s. SWTX, big base, breakout wedge, and stair-step your way higher in a tight channel, which calls for a move to 60. SYRS pops out of a base, wedges, explodes, and coils. Keep an eye on this one, because if it breaks, I'm looking for a move about 3 points up to 11. TAL, the junior educational stock from China, continues to channel. The gap fill is near us. The extension target is low 20s. High teens and low 20s are your targets. Here's one I really like, a little junior stock called Talkspace. Beautiful chart, breakout base, pull back, flag, and check out the last 5 or 6 days in a rising flag. This is about to go vertical, I think. We'll see, but I'm targeting 4 and 6. Teva, big base and a breakout. But how beautiful is that steady rising channel? Don't know how far I take it, but my target is 14.5, 15. Tenaya breaks out, flags, pops, wedges, pops, retests, and pops again. Very resilient type and strong rising channel, but a triple top near 8 is your near-term target. Beyond that, 10.5. TOST coming back out. This is a software stock I like, but it has work to do up here. My target is 27. SVT, 5-wave decline, V-bottom platform, breakout, falling wedge to the moving average, which I crossed over and turned around there. Now another pop and flag, so it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking for a 5th wave that gets us to $8. TXT, first put out a swing when it popped here and pulled back around the mid-70s. It's made it up to over 90. It's still in play. It has a broken support. It took a long time to develop, however. My target now is $100. VICO, long-term rising channel. Looks to me like after breaking here and retesting and then breaking out, it has more room to go. 44 and 50 are targets. VERA extended, but what a beautiful momentum move, and how strong is this chart? Rising flag after all that at the channel top. Should it break through, it could accelerate. Don't know how far they take it, but I'll guess high 50s. Again, this is all predicated on the market holding together. The market turns down, they can all give you a pullback. Look at Viking. Big drug news, maybe takeover here. This is the tech trader swing from the, I believe, low 20s or high teens. And anyway, it went vertical to 99.41. It's still holding. Let's see if it extends on this one. Wouldn't be surprised at 115, 125. Veronis, beautiful chart. Coil pop. Holding the channel, holding the trend line. 55 is your target right now. Great looking chart. BRT, similar. Good momentum. Now 71. Last April, This was 12. The target, 95. BST, talk about accelerating. Look at this thing. It's up 2 weeks in a row every day from 42 to 55. And I don't know how far they can take something like that. But look at that chart. Extended, yeah. Momentum, you betcha. Keep raising your stops or something like that. VT-YX, exploded wedge and popped. Take a look at this. We can get up through, in the last 3 days, we got up around 885, 875, 85. We get through that. My target's 13.5. XERX, tech traded swing, popped out, wedged, popped again, and it's flagging. Looking for 3.5, 4.25. XPL Logistics, look at that flag. One of my favorite charts. One of my favorite companies. I've been on this long term. Take a look at this. How about that chart? Split adjusted, 1 to 120. And flagging. Where can it go? 145. That's it for the longs. I got a few shorts to show you, and we'll call it good for today. ADM, the food company, Archer Daniels, massive top breakdown on a big gap with a bear wedge. Now Friday engulfed to the upside, so it may be reversing. The stop's over 57.8. The target is 48, 45, and 41. ACMR, a big breakdown and a real hard, looks like a hard rally. Either way, this is a tech traded swing that what I think has legs for 195.88. CAR, Avis broke a big, like 2-year top, came down hard with no bounce, finally getting a little bounce. If it gets higher, mid 120s, maybe it's a short for a move to 98 and 88. CEIX, head and shoulder top, breakdown, and a move right back to the neckline and the declining tops line. So if it fails there, you can see it's come down to mid 70s, even lower than that. But be careful here because breakout, you need to cover. INMD rolled over, consolidated, and pulled back. As you can see, it snapped back and it's got a big bear flag. So if it fails here, we roll over, and we could roll over hard. Just keep your stops on this one over 26. Anything below that, we may see something in the teens. AEHR, well, it's looking better. It's particularly on Friday, but it's still in a big coil. And if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, we may see this at $10 or $11 if the market rolls over. Be careful with AEHR. AMN, dropped that out of that bear coil like a lead balloon, and it's hardly bouncing. I still see this lower, 50 and 42. ATGE, something new, broke down. It has a big bear wedge. If it cracks, we can see 42 and even 35. CCK, look at this top. And look at that bear wedge. Well, Crown Court can get hammered. I would not be shocked if it does break. We have a mid-40 stock. That could be big. CMT, look at this breakdown and then coil, but it's trying to break out, so be careful. I don't want this above, say, right there. Stop over 20. If it breaks, the targets are mid-teens and low teens. CQP, an oil stock with a head and shoulder top. When the price of oil moving up and this stock can't, there's something wrong here. I think 45 and 40 are targets. Fluence, a top pattern as well, a breakdown and a snapback. And so at this point, looking for 12. Fox Factory, the tech trader swing short. It got creamed, but it has snapped back to resistance. My target is still 37.8. Jill broke down, tried to snap back, creating a down channel, and if it cracks this bear flag, 20, 21 type target. LITE broke down and formed a big bear wedge. If it breaks, 44, 41, 39, maybe lower, all the way down to mid-30s. New York Times looks pretty ugly to me. A big bearish engulfing reversal on Friday alone. I'm looking for a move to 40 and 35. Qualis, double top breakdown, then tried to rally and reversed. Let's see if this one cracks. 155, 149, 133, and finally take two, broke down and tried to bounce but couldn't, and broke down again to the trend line and bounced on Friday. If it breaks that thing, it's headed down to 135. And there's an exhaustive look at all the longs, the shorts, the technicals, and the ETFs that we follow closely. Please review this carefully, folks, for some ideas for next week and be prepared. You know, trading takes some work. So plan your work and work your plan next week, and we'll be back to you soon. Talk to you Monday morning. Have a great rest of your weekend. HB out. I'll talk to you later.